You see, there are two types of people in this world, my friends. Those who have seen these movies and those who have not. The good, the bad, and the ugly, a fistful of dollars, and for a few dollars more. But what if I told you these movies were never actually intended to be a trilogy? 3 films that transformed Clint Eastwood from a television actor into an international icon and defined the spaghetti western genre. That's right. Today we're diving deep into the untold story of how The Man with No Name came to life, and the surprising truth behind one of the most beloved western trilogies of all time. Let's start at the beginning. A Fistful of Dollars, released in 1964, wasn't just a western. It was actually an unofficial remake of Akira Kurosawa's classic samurai film, Yojimbo. Director Sergio Leone borrowed heavily from Kurosawa's original, right down to the concept of a mysterious loner who enters a corrupt town and pits 2 rival gangs against each other. But unlike the traditional Hollywood westerns of the time, Leone's film was gritty, violent, and morally ambiguous. At this point, Clint Eastwood was mostly known for his role on the TV series Rawhide, where he played the clean-cut, heroic cowboy. But A Fistful of Dollars was a completely different challenge. Filming in Spain with an Italian director and a shoestring budget, Eastwood was stepping into unknown territory. The film's dialogue was sparse and the production wasn't exactly glamorous. Eastwood wasn't even the first choice for the role. Leone originally wanted Henry Fonda or Charles Bronson to play the lead, but both actors turned it down. Clint Eastwood, eager to break out of the TV mold, took the part for a modest paycheck of $15,000. Filming conditions were tough. Dust storms, language barriers with the Italian crew, and long, hot days in the Spanish desert. But despite the odds, A Fistful of Dollars became a massive success across Europe. What made A Fistful of Dollars so revolutionary was its raw, cynical take on the Western genre. Gone were the days of John Wayne's noble cowboy. Instead, Eastwood's character, a man with no name, was morally complex, playing both sides of a violent conflict purely for profit. Audiences had never seen a Western anti-hero quite like this. The film's gritty action, Ennio Morricone's unforgettable score, and Eastwood's understated performance struck a chord. But despite its success, there was no plan for a sequel. Yet a year later, in 1965, we got For a Few Dollars More. The surprising part? This wasn't intended as a sequel to A Fistful of Dollars. In fact, Eastwood's character in this film isn't technically the same person. But Leone wasn't concerned about continuity. Instead, he was more focused on refining his unique style. More violence, more grit, and of course, more tension. One of the key changes in For a Few Dollars More was the introduction of Lee Van Cleef as Colonel Douglas Mortimer, a rival bounty hunter. This was a bold move, splitting the spotlight between 2 main characters. But it worked. The chemistry between Eastwood's quiet, ruthless gunslinger and Van Cleef's methodical, vengeful character added a new layer to the story. Once again, the film was a hit, solidifying Leone's and Eastwood's place in the Western genre. While these 2 films set the stage for the man with no name character, it wasn't until the 3rd installment, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that the idea of a trilogy was born. But here's the kicker. It wasn't Sergio Leone or Clint Eastwood who came up with the idea. It was United Artists, the American distributor. When they secured the rights to release the films in the United States, they saw an opportunity to market them as a trilogy. They even gave Clint's character an official title, The Man with No Name. This marketing strategy was genius. Fans loved the idea of the man with no name, a lone drifter with no past, no real moral compass, and no allegiance to anyone. He was a true anti-hero, something rare for that time in cinema. But here's where things get interesting. The Man with No Name wasn't a single character. In each of the 3 films, Clint Eastwood's character has a different name. Joe in A Fistful of Dollars, Manco in For a Few Dollars More, and Blondie in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The films weren't written to be part of a connected universe. In fact, there are several inconsistencies between them. For instance, in For a Few Dollars More, Eastwood's character is shown as a skilled bounty hunter with a clear moral goal, hunting down criminals for justice. But in A Fistful of Dollars, his motivation is purely financial. And in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, he's a bit of both. Not to mention his outfit and mannerisms change subtly across each film. But despite these differences, fans embraced the marketing, and the Dollars trilogy was born. Of course, the working relationship between Clint Eastwood and Sergio Leone wasn't without its challenges. By the time they started filming The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, tensions were running high. Leone was a perfectionist, often shooting the same scene dozens of times to get it just right. Eastwood, on the other hand, was used to the faster pace of TV production and grew frustrated with Leone's long, drawn-out shooting style. After The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Eastwood reportedly swore he'd never work with Leone again. But despite their differences, what they created together was nothing short of magic. The final duel in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, with its intense close-ups, brilliant use of silence, and Morricone's unforgettable score, is often regarded as one of the greatest moments in cinema history. Leone's style, combined with Eastwood's stoic performance, made The Man with No Name a legend. So there you have it. The Dollars trilogy, 3 films that were never meant to be connected, became one of the most iconic trilogies of all time. Thanks to brilliant marketing, unforgettable performances, and Sergio Leone's vision, The Man with No Name became a symbol of the rugged, solitary gunslinger who doesn't need a backstory to be a legend. But what do you think? Should these movies be considered a true trilogy, or do you see them as standalone stories? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.